All right, so welcome everyone to our this PMP training session. Finally, we are about to start with a bit of a delay. Apologies for that. But anyways, we are here, and it's our first session. Uh, it will be just initially just an introductory session, and we will take things forward from here. So, before going into some of the details or talking about the PMP exam, why not let's know each other, who are the participants, so that we can put a face to the names as well. So, uh, before discussing anything, I would request all of you, if you can just turn on your cameras and introduce yourself to everyone, so that everyone knows who the participants are and what you do. So that would be great. I hope most of you know me very well, so I'm not going to introduce myself.
Okay. So I'll start. Assalamu alaikum. Zain Mohtarim. I'm a telecom professional. I'm a telecom engineer, and I've also done my MBA. So just to get a flavor of the management side of things, and I've been associated with the industry for about 19 years now. I've worked with two companies, Jazz and Ericsson, and most recently I've joined Netcom Technologies, which is delivering for Huawei. My reason for pursuing this program is that I've been in the role of a project manager for the last 7 or 8 years. Um, but there are things that I've picked up along the way. But I think with PMP, there can be some method to the madness that is project management. So that's my reason for pursuing this. Thank you.
Hello Imran. So I would like maybe if you briefly introduce yourself. So though we know you bet details, but it would be great if we can have brief intro from your side as well.
Okay, sure. Uh, all right. So my name is Imran Zafar. I hope you know the name already. At least you know this part. Uh, Basically, I am an electrical engineer, and then I did my MBA as well some time back. Then I pursued my PMP certification during the COVID days, and then after the PMP, immediately I went for the Program Management Professional, the PgMP certification. And now I am in parallel, I am preparing for the Portfolio Management certification as well. Apart from that, if you talk about my experience, so I have around 22 years of professional experience, mostly in the telecom sector and some part in the automobile sector. And most of the experience is related to the project side, program side, and portfolio management side. So this is, and recently, starting at the start of this year in January, I started delivering these PMP trainings, and you are my sixth batch. So I feel proud. Okay, all right, it's a startup kind of thing, but getting to batch number six is quite okay for me. So I hope you guys will enjoy the sessions, enjoy the interaction and the overall material. And I hope all of you will not disappoint me as did the earlier batches. Unfortunately, with PMP, the problem is that almost 99, more than 90% people, they get the training, but they do not give the exam. So I hope this won't be the case with you guys.
Right. Thank
Okay,
you, Imran.
thank you.
So, let me quickly introduce myself. So, my name is Bilal. Um, I graduated back in 2005. By profession, I am a telecom engineer. Um, my first association was with the Mobilink. Mainly, I worked in value-added services stream. So my telecom path was like more very progressive. So initially, I was in the operation, and then after working for like 4 to 5 years, then I thought I think I need to do something else. So then I did my master in project management from Zabist, Islamabad. And then I adjusted my career a bit and moved to Telenor, where I got the opportunity to work more on the project environment. So since then, I am basically responsible to manage the end-to-end projects deliveries. Um, 2019 was the year when I decided to um, move to Dubai. There was another opportunity there where I've been hired for as a consultant for one of the company. So I worked for them for like 3 years. Then I had to return back. I joined another firm here based in Islamabad, where my role was actually senior project manager and governance lead. So that contract was for 2 years. So that is just finished a week ago. So during this time, I thought that maybe my old project management knowledge actually probably I followed old PMP version, so maybe I need to update myself. So that is the reason I'm here. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. And thank you to Zain as well. I forgot to thank you earlier. Okay, so who is next then? We
Assalamu
can
alaikum.
see. Walaikum salam.
My name is Adil Siddiqui, and by profession, I am electrical engineer from NIT University, passed out in 2001. And then I did my master's, and I have been working for Mobilink as well. After that, I moved to Oman in 2006. And for some reasons, I come back, return back, and then joined Ariba T&D. It's a Germany company. Then I joined Schneider Electric. All work was related to projects basis. So after that, I moved back to Saudi with the contracting company, working for high voltage and extra high voltage substations. There I was working as a project manager. Then I came back. Uh, I joined K Electric. बताना नहीं चाह रहा था, ये बताने वाली बात नहीं है कि इलेक्ट्रिक वाली, लेकिन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मैंने उसको छोड़ दिया वापस. एंड देन आई केम बैक टू सऊदी अगेन एंड जॉइन सऊदी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. सो नाउ इट्स अ प्राउड फॉर मी कि मैं के इलेक्ट्रिक को छोड़कर सऊदी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में आ गया हूँ, और स्टिल वर्किंग विद सऊदी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एज कंसल्टेंट रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर हैंडलिंग 380 के प्रोजेक्ट्स अप टू 380 के भी. सो
Okay.
बेसिकली जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हैं उनको सुपरवाइज करना होता है यहाँ पर, जो सबस्टेशन से फ्रॉम सिविल से लेकर एनर्जाइजेशन वर्क तक वो सारा प्रोजेक्ट हमारा डिपार्टमेंट ही देखता है. तो बेसिकली फॉर वन रीजन आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दिस. सो
Okay, and our first session was also cancelled because of KE की मेहरबानी.
यार
So,
I would say जितनी गालियां देनी है दो, मैं वहां पर अब नहीं हूँ, ठीक है?
uh, and just to let you guys know, Adil is basically a very dear friend of mine. We are batchmates from NAD. So,
बैचमेट्स एंड ग्रुप मेट्स ऑल्सो, हमने पढ़ा भी साथ।
let's keep it till here. Don't go any further.
ना नहीं, मैं अपना ऑडियो म्यूट कर रहा हूँ।
Okay, so who is next? Alim?
जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी।
Walaikum
Can you hear
salam.
me, sir?
वालेकुम सलाम, यस और
Yes, yes.
Okay, see. My name is Ali Matif, and I am from Lahore, and I am working in a Japanese software house from last 7 to 8 years. And my job responsibility is just to coordinate between the Japanese team and Pakistan team, and we deliver some IT projects to Japanese government. So I feel myself that I need to improve my managerial and abilities and qualities. So that's why I pursue, and I asked for you to join me, like your student or your colleague, whatever you say. So this is my passion, basically.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Alim. I think Shifaz has also joined. I don't know, maybe if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, so you can correct me as well.
Yeah,
Shifaz,
yeah,
can you
it's
hear
correct.
us?
Shift.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can turn your video as well, so we can see you, and then you maybe can introduce yourself.
Fine. So,
Yeah, we can see you now.
is it visible now?
Yes.
Yep.
So I didn't get you.
Yeah, we can see you. Can you hear me?
I need to introduce myself or what?
Yeah. All others are done. Only you are left. You joined a bit late, so maybe you missed some of the intros.
Fine. No, do I need to introduce myself or?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Fine. I'm Shifaz. My full name is Shifaz Shahjahan. I'm working as a mechanical engineer here in Saudi now. Currently working in Riyadh with Atkins as a supervision consultant for the SFQ project in Qiddiya city. And I'm from India. So that's it.
Okay, and why you want to pursue PMP? What's your motivation?
Same as our previous speaker has told, same to improve and enhance our managerial capabilities and to in our career journey for the next step. I think it will be helpful. It will be better.
Okay. Yeah, sure, it will be. Okay, so I think we are done with all the intros. So thank you all for introducing yourself. So let's move forward with this. So talking about this PMP course, I think let's move forward to the topics that we will be covering. So this is how the course is set up or is structured, the way I have structured it. So let's have a brief look into it. So starting with the introduction part, today we will cover some basic things about how the exam is and what the overall structure of the exam is and how to approach this overall preparation. What is how the PM work is structured and stuff like that. And then we will move to this fundamentals part, or we call it business environment as well. So here we will talk about some basic things that are important to understand from the exam perspective or for the overall structure of the course, the basic fundamentals, we will cover that. And after that, we will move to the stakeholder management domain. Stakeholder management or stakeholder engagement is a very important topic when we uh, study for the PMP exam. After stakeholder, we will talk about communication management. Then we will go into the agile concepts. I hope you guys know that since at the start of 2021, when the PMBOK 7th edition came in, so agile concepts are also now part of the current PMP exam. Previously, it was all about predictive project management, but now the new standard talks about the agile management and the hybrid management. So we will talk about the agile concepts, we will get the basic understandings, and then we will move to the other domains like scope management, schedule management, cost, risk management, quality management, procurement, uh, team and resource management, and finally the overall integration and closure related to the project. So this is how the course is outlined. I'll try to uh, discuss each and every or all the important concepts in detail and would like all of you to participate as well. You can share your experiences or so that we can have a interactive kind of session. And wherever you feel that you can input some value, sharing your experiences. So that is always better. Uh, Combining the bookish knowledge with practical knowledge always helps in understanding the concepts. uh, Objective of the course is very simple that what I'll try to do is to make sure that you have all the concepts that are essential for the PMP exam. You know the processes, you know the terminologies, the different or the very important tools and techniques that are part of this PMP outline, so that you have a very good understanding of how different things are interrelated to each other because this understanding.
Somebody else has shared the screen.
I think Aleem, you have shared your screen. Aleem, can
Okay,
you?
let me
I think he mistakenly shared the screen. Yeah.
Let me reshare. Just change the settings now. Okay.
Yeah, we back to the same. Yeah. Okay, it's okay now.
Hmm. Okay. So okay, and all the material that I have developed, it is basically coming from the the two standards, the PM Box 6 and the 7th edition, and the Agile Practice Guide of PMI. So we will be covering material from these two standards and one agile practice guide, and that should be more than enough for you guys to follow. You will not be required or needed to read any other books, etc. I'll be giving you all the notes. The notes are already available on the website, plus you have the practice exams as well, and we will keep talking about these things continuously. So this is what the course objective of the course is, so that you can understand the concept, the processes, terminologies, and tools and techniques as we move along session by session. Uh, Going forward, this is just to give you guys some motivation. You guys, at least right now, feel motivated about pursuing the PMP exam. Let's see how it remains. But this is a study that PMI conducted, and this study shows that by the end of 2030, there will be around 25 million project management related new jobs that will be created. So that is a very high number, and there is a lot of scope. And you guys might have also seen the different, if you are looking for jobs, especially the project management related jobs. So PMP certification is always a plus point in those jobs. Even in some cases, that is a mandatory kind of certification as well. So this should be your motivation, and more importantly, uh, do not study just for the sake of passing the PMP exam. Take it in such a way that you are able to understand and apply those concepts in whatever uh, industries or organizations you are working, so that you can portray yourself as someone who knows about project management, and you can introduce some new things into your organizations. So that will also enhance your profile within the organization and outside the organization as well. So this is how you should be approaching this learning journey that we are continuing today, or rather tonight. Talking about the PMP exam detail and how the exam is set up. So let's first talk about the process. You may be familiar with this process already, so I'll go through very quickly. Uh, Basically you have three. The first requirement is obviously you have to get the training, the 35 PDUs that we will be covering in these sessions. So that thing will be covered here. So once you are done with the 35 PDUs, then you can apply or submit your application to PMI. For the application part, I will be guiding you. I will be telling you how to format the application, and I will be reviewing it, and then you will be submitting it to PMI. So usually PMI takes 3 to 5 days to review the application and for their decision. And once you have the approval, then you can book your exam within 1 year of your approval, and then you can within the same year you have to give the exam as well. So this is how the process is, as far as the till you are giving the exam and inshallah passing it as well. Uh, Eligibility requirements wise, you guys are already eligible. Basically, eligibility criteria is that if you have a bachelor's degree, then you need 3 years of project management experience. So I hope all of you are well covered in this area. They should not be having any issue. And one more thing that a lot of people ask me that when we submit the application to PMI, so do we need to submit our experience certificates as well, or maybe some project related documents as well? So that is not needed. They do not require any proofs or verifications. Sorry. Uh, Alim, can you mute yourself? Okay, so you just need to tell them, and they just ask for two referrals or two references. You just need to give their contact numbers and email addresses, and in majority of the cases, the PMI never calls anyone or they do not send any email. So that should not be an issue. You just need to fill the application, fill your experience, and tell them about 3 projects, and you will be inshallah good to go for the exam. Any stage, if you guys have any questions, any clarification that you want to ask, you can raise your hand and you can ask it. Okay. Talking about the exam, so this is how the exam is set up. You will have 180 questions to attempt in 230 minutes. So that is roughly around 70 seconds per minute that you will have to read the question, read the choices, and apply your understanding and answer the question. 175 of those questions, these are the questions that are scored. Against this, your scoring will come, or you will be tested. The five questions are pre-test kind of questions that PMI puts there to check or that how people are responding. These are new questions, and PMI just wants to get the understanding the how the answers are coming. If majority of the people are confused or they are not able to answer, so maybe the scenario is not clear or there is some confusion related to the topics. So maybe those kind of questions are then removed or they do not become part of upcoming exams. But obviously for you, you do not know you do not know what those 5 questions are, so you have to answer or attempt all 180 questions. And there is no negative marking in the exam. So you should be answering all the questions. Uh, and in the exam, you are allowed 2 breaks. The first break will come after you are done with 60 questions. So you will be giving the option that you whether you want to take a 10 minutes break or not. So it is always recommended that you should avail this 10 minutes break just to regather your thoughts and calm yourself down. Because obviously there is always pressure, some pressure related to exam. And the next break will come after 120 questions, again 10 minutes. So it is again recommended that you should avail both the breaks. But one thing you should remember that whatever questions, the 60 questions that you have completed, once you have taken the break, you will not be allowed to go back to those questions or change your answers. They are gone. So if you have marked any questions for review that you may want to go back and read again if you have time, so you need to be very careful that before taking the break, you should be going back to those questions and uh, confirming that you have answered them, and then you can go for the break. So this is how the exam is set up, and the exam is purely situational, conceptual based, and you need to apply your understanding, your knowledge to answer those questions. So it is very important that apart from attending these training sessions or reviewing the material, majority of your preparation or almost 50 to 60% of your preparation will come from the practice questions and the mock exams. That is a very important part. So that is for this reason I have a lot of questions available on the website. There are almost 2000 plus questions. You have quizzes related to each and every topic, and then you have the 10 mock exams as well. So that should be more than enough. The important thing for that part is that whenever you complete any quiz or any mock exam, any practice questions, you need to review each and every question. That, okay, uh, this question I gave the wrong answer. So what was the reason that my answer is wrong? That review is extremely important. That will help you in understanding different concepts and different scenarios a lot. And what I recommend that you should also review the right answers as well, because sometimes maybe you are not sure about something and you just uh, by chance you clicked on the right answer. So it is also important to review the right ones as well and keep preparing your notes and noting down important points as you go along this journey. So I hope till now it is clear to all of you. If you have any questions or queries related to this, you can ask. Otherwise, we can move forward.
What is the passing criteria for this?
Passing criteria is the PMI never tells about that. Okay, you have let's say 180 questions, and you this is not the way they are going to tell you that uh, uh, you were able to answer 120 questions correctly and 60 were wrong. This is not they are going to tell you. Basically, there are three domains in which from which this entire PMP exam is structured. So we will talk about those domains in the upcoming slides, and you will only know, or the your result will only tell you that whether you have whether you are below target, on target, or above target in all the three domains separately. So if you are on target or above target, so it means you have cleared the exam. And if you are below target in any of the domains, then you have not cleared the exam. So this is how you will get to know whether you have cleared the exam or not. There is no percentage data available that 65%, 75%, or 50% are the passing marks. This data is never shared by PMI, and this is not available with anyone. But what people assume that anything in between 65 to 75%, if you are able to answer in all three domains, so then you can clear the exam easily. So this is how it is. Okay.
Yeah, Imran, I have one question. So,
Yeah.
so you mentioned two breaks for overall exam. So, let's say if any of the question that is marked as reviewed in the first session, first, so that would be available after the break to reattempt, right?
No, you won't be able to go back to them.
Okay.
So before, that's what I mentioned earlier, that before going to the break, let's say
Hmm.
you are done with the first 60 questions and now you want to take a break. So you should
Hmm.
be going back to those questions that you have marked for review. And
Hmm.
if you have not answered, you should answer them.
Hmm.
Or if you have answered and you want to re-verify whether your approach was correct, so you do that and then you go for the break.
Okay, right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so moving forward, so this is what Adil I was mentioning when you asked about the passing criteria. So this is how the exam is set up, or the exam is divided into three domains: people, process, and business environment. Okay, so the people domain, it covers 42% of the questions, from the 180, 42% of the questions will be coming from people domain. And people domain is all about how you manage your team, how you motivate them, how you lead them, how you communicate with them. Your stakeholders are also involved in people, your contractors, your bosses. So everything related to your conflict management skills, your team management skills. So all these things are part of this people domain. And from there, you will be having 42% of exam questions. And again, uh, the criteria will be below target, target, or above target. So this is where you are clear, and here you will be considered as you have not passed the exam. And in the process domain, we have 50% questions coming from the process domain, and process domain is all about the different project management processes like stakeholder management, cost management, procurement, quality, risk, all the processes that we discussed in the course outline as well. So 50% of the questions are coming from process domain, and 8% comes from the business environment, which is about your change management, and how you deliver value to the business, how you govern your projects. So this is what we cover in the business environment part. And talking about the division of questions about the different development life cycles like predictive project management or hybrid or agile project management. So almost 40 to 50% of the questions they come from the predictive project management, the waterfall methodology, which is plan driven methodology. We will talk about all these methodologies in the fundamentals part and as we go along. And 50 to 60% questions are nowadays coming from agile concepts or hybrid approaches. Hybrid approach is basically a combination of predictive and agile methodologies. So it combines both those methodologies. So this is how the exam is set up, and we will be covering it accordingly. The mock exams are also, and the practice questions are also framed in such a way that we cover all these aspects in a very coherent kind of way, so that you are able to uh, grasp the knowledge and start practicing it as well. And by the way, I don't have the 6 week study plan here. I forgot to include it here. Maybe we can discuss it in some next session, but that is available on the website. You can review it there. So if you follow that 6 week plan, so you can book your exam after any time after 6 weeks if you are able to follow that study plan. And this is how the different topics we discussed about these already, that what is covered in people domain, what is covered in process domain, and what is included in the business environment. So moving forward, let's talk about how the exam questions are framed, or how you will be finding the questions that come in exam. So almost 100% of the questions are all scenario based. There will not be any straightforward kind of questions where they will be asking you definitions. You will not be finding any such question. All the questions will be presenting a scenario, uh, and it will ask you that how should you handle that situation as a project manager. So you need to understand the PMI perspective. That will be the scenario will be a real world kind of context. You will be given a situation, and it will basically test how your decision making skills, or how you will be approaching that scenario as a project manager. Uh, all majority of the questions, almost 90 to 95% questions, are MCQ types, where you have to choose the best answer. And nowadays some of the questions are coming where you have to choose more than one options. Those are also multiple choice questions types, but these type of questions are also nowadays coming as well. And some of the questions are heat map kind of questions, where you will be given a diagram, a chart, something, and you need to select any point on the graph which you feel is the answer related to this question. But that is only 2 to 3% of the questions are like that. Majority of the questions are multiple choice questions. Uh, and how to approach those questions? First of all, you need to keep this in mind, that this will come with practice. There is no shortcut to it. You need to practice a lot. When I was preparing for my PMP exam, those were the COVID days, and unfortunately, from whom I prepared, so they did not. They were not able to, or they do not have the online kind of mock exams. There was only one mock exam, and the quality wise, that was not or that was not at attempted questions from Rita, and from wherever I found questions in paper based, and then I used to sit with a clock and start reading the questions and writing the answers on a paper and then reviewing it. But for you guys, you have a learning system available. All the questions, all the even the quizzes, they are also timed. What I want you to start practicing with a clock ticking, because that will help you in coming into the exam mode. Because sitting for 4 hours in a pressure cooker type of situation, when you are into the actual PMP exam, so you need to practice for that. And this practice will help you in analyzing the situation, understanding the situation, and then utilizing the elimination technique, that okay, these are the wrong answers, and uh, which is the best answer. You should not be going for the right answer. You have to choose the best among the four choices that are given. Maybe you feel that none of the choices is the right answer, so you should be thinking that I am not looking for the right answer, I am looking for the best choice among the given options. So this is how you should be approaching it. Elimination technique, I hope most of you know. This is what it is, that you eliminate the distractors or the wrong answers. Let's say, just to give you an example, that you, let's say you are given a situation where the scenario is that your team member is not performing well, and now you need to deal with that situation. So as one of the choice could be that you can remove that team member from your team. Another choice could be that you should be reporting that team member to HR. uh, both these are the wrong answers as per PMI perspective. PMI is against such kind of extreme actions immediately. Okay, so this is what how you can eliminate the distractors or the extreme kind of actions. If there are extreme kind of words in the choices, so those are also distractors. This is if we talk about our own perspective, or from our own experiences, so maybe we will be choosing that okay, let's remove it, the team member from the team. But that is always a wrong answer when we talk about the PMI's perspective. So, and this will come with practice. uh, so this is how the exam is set up, and this is how you should be approaching it, that you will be given the scenario and then you need to analyze it and apply the relevant concepts, and then choose the best answer among the given choices. And there are some strategies how to, and why we are discussing this right up front, because obviously for every topic, what I want you guys to start attempting the quizzes as well that are available there. There are two quizzes for each topic that we will be covering, like stakeholder, like the fundamentals part. So you have two quizzes available there if some of you have gone through the material. So for every topic, you have two quizzes available, and each quiz is 25 questions. So that is why I'm discussing it here. That will help you in approaching the questions accordingly. So the most important thing is to understand the PMI perspective. That is a very important thing. We all are coming from different backgrounds. We have different experiences. We have been part of multiple kind of projects in different environment, every project is different, every industry, every organization is different. But the PMP exam is about the best practices that are being followed all over the world. And based on that, the PMP course outline is developed by PMI. So it is important to understand uh, the perspective of PMI when we are applying that knowledge. We have to let go our own experiences or our own choices, or the way we have done things or we are doing things. We need to let go that and understand how PMI sees stakeholder engagement, how PMI talks about communication management, how PMI talks about team management, how conflict resolution, procurement management, risk management, quality management. That is very important to understand that and then apply it, at least when we are giving the or we are attempting the questions, or when we are sitting in the exam. Reading questions, obviously, this is very important because there are some subtle kind of words that can change the entire meaning of the scenario. Maybe you are given a scenario and you are focused on the scenario, but the question that they ask is something different that may not be related to that scenario. So reading the question obviously is extremely important. You need to look for key terms like first, next, most likely, best. So this will these most of these questions will come in the process part, where you need to understand the process. You are given a situation, a scenario, and now they ask you that what is the next step, or what should the first thing the project manager should do. So answering those kind of questions, you need to have a good understanding of the processes, that okay, this is how the process is. We are here in this process. Let's say the process has 6 steps, and the scenario is that you are at the third step, and now it is asking about what is the next step or the action PM should do. So you should be obviously choosing the choice that is referring to the fourth step in the process. Another important thing is you should be thinking holistically. You should be having a broader understanding. Your mindset should be that you will not be going for any decision or any actions that can give you a short-term kind of advantage for the project, but in longer run, it is not beneficial for the organization. So you should not any such choices that indicate a short-term kind of solution, they are always wrong answers. So understanding this, or taking a broader perspective, that as a project manager, whatever decision I am taking, how that is going to impact the organization, or the value that the organization is trying to get from my project, how it is going to impact the organization in the longer run. So this is how you should be thinking whenever you are taking any decisions. This point we talked about already, that how you can eliminate the distractors or identify the distractors, and then you can start concentrating on the remaining choices. Uh, uh, this point we have already talked about, that you need to find the best answer. Uh, do not look for the right answer. You need to find the best answer among the given choices. And if some of the questions may be 4 to 5 lines long, so how to approach those kind of questions? Because if you remember, you have only 70 seconds to answer every question. So how to approach these long or wordy kind of questions? So for that, it is recommended that you read the last sentence first, and then you skim through the earlier part of the question, because in those kind of questions, the crux of the question is in the last line. So if you practice it accordingly, so that will help you a lot when you are actually sitting in the exam. So these are the few important points that you can keep in your mind when you are practicing the questions, or when you are answering the questions. So I hope it is clear till now, or any question, queries you have, you can ask related to anything that we covered till now. It will also help me giving some break to my throat. I have a sore throat tonight. So all good. I hope I am not boring you guys.
No, I think this is good.
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Anyways, if I'm boring you, so I can't do anything about it. Okay, so
I
now
hope that
let's.
will not be the case, Imran.
Yeah, inshallah, that will not be the case. We'll try to make it as interactive as possible. So, how to prepare
Just
for
one
the.
question, sorry to interrupt. So
Yeah, yeah.
the recording that you are already enabled, so will it be available for us because we are not taking the notes?
Yeah. All the recordings will be available on YouTube. Okay, that's why I asked for the YouTube email addresses. So
Mhm.
you can watch these recordings on YouTube. These will be private videos only accessible to you guys. So you can
Mhm.
watch it anytime.
Right.
I'll once I upload the video, you will also get the email as well, and I'll update on the group as well.
Okay. Right. Thank
Okay,
you.
so talking about this how to prepare for the exam. Some of the points we have touched upon briefly already.
Mm.
That you need to understand the concepts. Okay, do not go for any kind of memorization or what we call a ratification type of these things are not going to help you at all. You need to understand the concept and you need to able to apply those concepts in different scenarios, because how this is how you will be tested in the exam. So understanding the concepts is extremely important, and uh, part of it will come from these sessions, and majority of it will come when you are doing the practice questions, or when we are attempting uh, 4 to 5 questions after each and every topic during our sessions, regular sessions as well. So memorization is a no-go. Understand the concept. You need to have a study plan for yourself. Whether maybe if you are giving only, let's say, 30 minutes per day, you need to stick to that. You need to make a study plan and you need to follow it, because as I told you at the start, that almost 90% or more people, they get the training but they are not able to give the exam. And majority of the people give the reason that I'm unable to find time for study, I am too busy. So you need to stay focused, follow a study plan, and start uh, studying bit by bit. Let me put the charging on, give me a minute. Okay, the screen sharing, where it has gone. Are you guys able to see the screen?
Yeah, yes.
Yes,
At least I can
it
see that.
shows the do's and don'ts. So
Why I
that's
am not able to? Okay, this is this here. Okay. Okay. So, we were talking about this, that you need to make a study plan for yourself, and then you need to stick to it as well. Okay. And
Imran, a quick question.
yeah.
So, though this is more specific to person, the study plan, but keeping in view the overall the knowledge where we are referring to, let's say, knowledge areas or process groups. So where we have to recap each and everything and have to understand the concept. So what do you recommend? I mean, 2 hours, 3 hours would be good enough to start off, and have to make it consistent, and then I mean, if somebody follows this plan, so he can, cover in a 1 month time.
Yes, the study plan that I have prepared, that study
Mhm.
plan is for 6 weeks. Okay. If you are able to follow that, then that is well and good.
Mhm.
You can you will be giving the exam after 6 weeks anytime. But if you somehow are not able to, 2-3 hours a day should be more than enough.
Okay.
And if you are able to uh, attend these sessions regularly, you are able to grasp the concepts in the sessions, so that will help you a lot.
Mhm.
You can directly maybe go to the quizzes, and once you are done with the quizzes, then you can start giving the mock exams. And
Mhm.
frankly, although there are 10 mock exams, but maybe you do not need to attempt all 10. As maybe I was discussing with you or someone else, that I had a student from Canada. She just gave 2 mock exams and she cleared the exam. So that depends how well you have understood the concepts and how you are able to apply those concepts. And then if you are getting good results in the mock exams, so maybe you do not need to attempt all 10 of them.
Right.
3, 4, 5 should be more than enough. But that I'll guide you which of the mock exam you should be attempting later on by looking at your scores that are coming in the quizzes, and then I'll tell you that okay, you go for these mock exams and you can leave the others. Okay.
Right. So the concept you are referring here, so those are 6 weeks plan. Basically, we have to follow, right?
Yeah, I agree that this is the how it is set up, that the first in the first 3 weeks when we are having these sessions. So
Mhm.
what the plan suggests, or what I recommend, that during these sessions you uh, attempt the quizzes related to all the topics. And once we are
Right.
done with the session, so then you can jump over to the
Quizzes,
mock exams.
mock exams.
Yeah, and notes are available before attempting the quizzes. You can go through the notes, and the slides will be available. The video recordings are also available. You attempt the quizzes, and once we are done with 3 weeks, so next 3 weeks, maybe you can attempt 4 to 5 mock exams, and then you are good to go.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
So I lost control of my pen tab. Anyways, let's try to
Are
utilize
you
this.
sharing any other slide? Because this do's and don't of preparation slide is showing at the moment.
Yeah, I'm on the same slide right now.
Okay, right.
Okay. So uh, this depends on you, whether you if you are able to get the concepts in one go, that should be more than enough. But if you are not grasping the concept, so it is always recommended that you revise these concepts 2-3 times.
Hmm.
No need to read this PM book at all. You may uh, I will not recommend you guys to read the PM book, because that will confuse you a lot. So no need to read PM book at all. And this point we have already talked about, that whatever questions you are or whatever quizzes, mock exams you are giving, you should be sparing ample time to review the answers and the explanations. All the questions have the explanations available. So that is a very or rather extremely important part of your preparation, to review your answers and noting down what went wrong and what went well. So that will help you a lot as you go along. And this is another important point, that you should not feel overwhelmed by the material or the concepts. If you are able to utilize these 2 hours or 4 hour sessions properly, so you will be having a lot of understanding already, and the rest will come when you are, let's say, studying maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour a day, or maybe 3 to 4 hours in a week should be more than enough, although it may drag your preparation time a bit. But you need to, as we discussed earlier, whatever you are deciding, whether in case of, as Bilal said, that he can spare 3 to 4 hours per day, not everyone will be able to do this. But let's say you have a plan that I will be studying 3 to 4 hours in a week, so you need to stick to that. And even in this scenario as well, you should be able to give the exam in not more than, let's say, 2 to 3 months. That should be more than enough. Okay, so these are the few do's and don'ts, how to approach your PMP preparation. Uh, we talked about this already, that depending on your study plan, you may be, uh, let me remove these. Okay, so depending on how you divide your study time, so it can take more than 4 months as well. As I've given you the example of the lady that from Canada, she started in February, and then she gave the exam in November. So you can see how long it took her. I have another student, is from the April batch. So her exam is scheduled on coming Saturday. So this is how most people end up giving exam in 6 months, 8 months. And that is a very long time, and you lose the motivation as well in between. So this is what I recommend you, that you should not follow this path. Make a plan for yourself, and then you stick to it. And another example that or something that I talk with my students, that uh, for me or for you guys, these 3 week sessions, this is a kind of a project for me. When we talk about definition of a project, so what is a project? Project is basically something that is temporary, means it is time bound, it has a start date and it has an end date, and there is a certain deliverable after it. So for me and for you guys, this training is a project. We have a start date and we have an end date when we will be ending these sessions. The next part, where you will be giving the mock exams, or finally you will be giving the exam, you should treat that for yourself as a project. You should have uh, an end date to it. So this is my end date, and this is where, or the maximum I can stretch this, and till this date I have to complete this. So this is how you should be taking it. You should take it as a project. And what I recommend, honestly, let me tell you, that if you are okay with it, so you should be, let's say, after 3 weeks, pay the exam fee, book your date, maybe 3 months later, like we are ending in December, maybe you can book a exam date for March, maybe April, maybe February end. But what that will do for you, that you have a target, that all right, I have paid the fee, now I have to give the exam. So that will help you in focusing your energy towards the exam accordingly. This is what my recommendation should be. But again, you can decide for yourself and stay focused, and hopefully you will be able to clear it soon, inshallah. Talking about
Imran,
uh,
one question, sorry.
yeah, yeah.
So after application approval, so how much time actually is available to book the exam? We can book the exam within 6 months, 3 months, or for how long?
You have 1 year time once your application is approved, and within that 1 year period, you have to give the exam.
Okay, right.
There is no time limit. Maybe you can book the exam the next year as well.
Okay.
It
Okay.
depends. Yeah. Okay.
But the application will remain approved. I mean, within this
For
one
one
year
year.
period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that, review is required again on the application part.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So for PMP exams success, there is a certain mindset. We talked about this earlier as well, that when we talked about the how to approach the questions, and the first point was understanding the PMI perspective. So
Mhm.
these few points, they are extremely important. This is the kind of mindset that you should be developing in you when you are practicing the questions and when you are giving the exam. And this is what PMI tries to see in a prospective PMP certified or a project management certified professional. Uh, and most of the questions will be testing these kind of characteristics or mindset in you as a project manager. So the first one is this collaborative leadership. So what you guys think the collaborative leadership, what that triggers in your mind, that what is collaborative leadership? Anyone?
You consult your team members before coming to a decision
Yeah,
about
good.
how to do things.
Yes. So this collaborative leadership basically, as you see, you are a facilitator, you consult your team, you align everyone, and you make sure that the team, the stakeholders, everyone is working together towards achieving the same goal. So this is a very important characteristic. You are not the king of castle anymore. You have to be collaborative, you have to engage with people, you have to involve people with you, and this is what your mindset should be, that you should not be authoritative or dictator kind of leadership style is not recommended by PMI at all. So this is the first and the most important thing, or the mindset that you should be developing as a
Okay,
project manager.
one small question. What is the level of team members to whom we are consulting?
Any team member, anyone that is part of your project team, you should try to develop consensus, because at the end of the day, uh, it is the team that will be helping you as a project manager in delivering a successful product or service or deliverable that you will be giving to your stakeholders or your organization. Okay. The second important part is
Please,
servant leadership.
one more thing. You are saying that we can consult anyone in our team. So it should
Mhm.
be like a meeting, like a team meeting, gather all people, or we can consult individually as well.
Depends on the situation. You can go with both the approach, and this collaboration is not only with team. It can be with your sponsor, with your stakeholders, for whom you are delivering something. Uh, it can be anyone that is associated with the project. It is not and just focused on the team. It can be anyone. It can be your boss, your sponsor, your stakeholder, your subject matter experts, your peers, your functional managers who are giving you the resources for the project. So there is a very broader perspective to this collaborative leadership. Okay. And the second important mindset is about servant leadership. Can anyone tell me what comes to your mind when we talk about what is servant leadership?
Prioritizing the need of others rather than your own personal gain, maybe.
Yeah. Uh, uh, We will talk about the servant leadership a lot in different topics. What is servant leadership? Is servant leadership, as they say, that it is a leader that carries food and water for your team. And by this, we do not mean that you are giving them meals and water, but it's about facilitating your team, removing the obstacles, anything that is uh, hindering their progress, any bottlenecks that are there. So your role is to remove those bottlenecks, those blockages, so that the team can focus on their work and they are not bothered about different things that can impact their progress. So this is what servant leadership is all about. The third important aspect is adaptability and flexibility. Uh, as these terms suggest that in predictive, when we talked about earlier about the predictive management, so it was very plan driven. You plan for everything at the start and then you start implementing it. So there is very limited adaptability and flexibility for the changing requirements or new features that maybe your customers are requiring. And any change can have a lot of, we can say, bureaucracy to follow, and then maybe you are able to implement that. But with the advent of agile methodologies, so adaptability and flexibility is now a part of PMP mindset, that you should, especially when we are talking about or if the scenario is about the agile methodology or hybrid methodology. So in those kind of scenarios, you should remain flexible about the requirements or the scope of the project, and you need to adapt as per the requirements of your stakeholders. So that is also an important mindset that you should be having if you are in an agile related scenario or a hybrid kind of environment. Uh, this is a very important point to remember. Proactive risk management. Risk management is a very important topic for the PMP exam, and in fact, whatever you do, managing risk is always important. Even let's say if we are planning a family trip or so we plan for risks in those scenarios as well. So that applies to project management as well. And we will talk about this risk management in very detail when we go to the risk part. But for here, what is meant by proactive risk management? That you should be able to identify as many risks as possible that can impact your progress or your project deliverables. And once you identify the risks, you should have plans available that how you will be dealing with those risks, how you should be making sure that that risk, if it occurs, it does not impact your deliverables in a negative way. This is what we call proactive risk management, that identifying the risk and have a plan ready if the risk happens, so how you will be dealing it. So one question that I would like to ask here, what do you think that risk is, what comes to your mind? Risk is what it is, a negative thing or a positive thing? How you
Uncertain
approach it?
event.
Uh, that is an uncertain event, but I'm talking about how you see the impact of any risk, where it is always a negative thing or it is a positive thing, how you foresee the impact of risk, or just the word risk. Any when we think about risk, or when we or is it something that is negative or is it something that is positive?
When we talk about risk, the word negative always comes in my mind, in our mind.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
There can be positive risk, maybe.
Yeah.
My understanding is that risk always has negative connotations. because it can delay the timelines, it might even prevent the achievement of the project goals. So, so proactive risk management is you try to list down and you do some sort of brainstorming to identify what can potentially go wrong and make contingency plans or make your project plan to compensate for any possible risks.
Okay. Uh, yes, majority of us see a risk as a negative thing, or we treat it as kind of a threat to our objectives. But what PMI says, that risks can be positive and negative both. Okay. Uh, you may have some opportunities as well. So PMI talks about those opportunities as risk as well, but positive risk.
Correct.
So if you have any threat that you foresee that can impact your progress, your deliverables, or you see any opportunity that can impact or add some value to your project, and you identified it, so you need to have a plan for that as well. That okay, if this thing occurs, that can be advantageous for me, so I should be having a plan to make the most out of that situation. So this is how a risk is considered by PMI, and for both negative or positive risk, we should have plans ready to either mitigate or avoid that threat, or uh, enhance that opportunity if it comes around. Okay. And talking about change management is different in different methodologies in predictive, and we will talk about change management in detail as well. In predictive methodologies, as we discussed in first few points, that in predictive it is all plan driven. You have the plans ready and then you start implementing it. So there, change management is very bureaucratic, and you are not that change friendly, because and why it is, just to give you an example, let's say you are doing a construction project. So most of the construction projects, they are all plan driven, or they follow the predictive methodology. You plan for it and then you start executing it, and any change later on, obviously that can have a lot of cost related or schedule related impact. So these kind of projects, they are very well planned at the start, and then you start implementing it, and once the implementation starts, so the chance of change is very less. So in those scenarios, obviously we go for or we can go for the plan driven methodology. But let's say you are working in an agile methodology, you are building a website, you are developing a software. So in those scenarios, maybe the changes are frequent, the user is also, or your customer is also, they do not also know that how uh, they want the end product to be. So they want you start developing it bit by bit. Let's say you are working on a website, so you design the, let's say, login page, you show it to the customer, and they see it and they recommend some changes, some additions, some modification, they want some things to be removed, and this is how you start building it bit by bit or piece by piece. So in this kind of scenario, change is very flexible. You are open to change and you are able to deliver as per the requirements of the customer. So depending on the methodology, whatever we are following, so change management is handled accordingly. And talking about the hybrid methodology, in hybrid is basically a combination of both the methodologies, the predictive and agile. So, anything that comes to your mind, or any scenario or a project in which we can utilize both these methodologies and call it a hybrid project?
Sorry, Imran. Can you repeat your question, please? You want to know the name of the project or?
Any scenario in which we
Any
can go for a hybrid methodology, which combines the elements of predictive and agile
scenario?
methodologies.
Well, to be honest, as per my experience, in majority of the organization I work with, so they are not very much adapted with agile methodologies. So um, they always combo of agile and predictive. So we call it hybrid. So for example, let me share few examples. So I was in the last company I was working, that was a software company, and we were basically developing mobile apps for one of the client based in KSA. When this was kicked off, so at that time, of course, there was thought process from both sides, from the partner who were basically dealing with the client, and from our side, that we have to put agile methodology in practice, right? But when it comes to different, when we deal with the requirements and the changes, so majority of the part, I would say not 80%, but I would say 60% it was plan driven. Um, and then 40% was to some extent, you can say, agile, maybe while having a deliberations with the client, while maybe they when they are requesting for the changes. So that part probably we have to see to facilitate the client. Yeah. So this was a kind of a hybrid methodology I worked with. In my experience, where we were developing the mobile application softwares for the client.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let
But
me give you the.
but I have question around. In fact, even in the adaptability and flexibility. So how to deal with the hybrid one? Because this is always tricky part. Which area we need to I mean, in the hybrid one, which area we need to handle, let's say when it comes to adaptability, flexibility, and change management, because you all, most of the time you are dealing with these.
Yeah. Uh, so what I would recommend, that let's park this question for today, and let's bring it when we talk about the fundamentals and when we talk about the phases of the project. So there I'll explain this, that how we can deal with this, or maybe this example that I have just written, maybe that can also answer your question. So what I was or why what I asked about, that let's say you have a project, so how we can blend, or how we can say that it is a hybrid project or hybrid methodology is being used. So going back to the, let's say, building construction or a housing project, so that is a project, and every project has certain phases that are completed to give you the overall delivery of the project. So let's say we are talking about a building construction project. So there are different phases. Let's say, and two of the phases I have mentioned here, that you design the architecture and then you start construction. So earlier example, what we saw, that this is a very plan driven kind of project, where you plan everything upfront and then you start delivering it. But now let's take it from a different perspective. Let's say you are in your design phase, you are designing your building. So there you can go for the agile methodologies, which is change adaptive. You are adaptable, you are flexible. So let's say your designer comes with, or you design an architecture that this is how the building should look like. You go to your customer, you show them the design, they review it, they recommend some changes that, okay, no, I want, let's say, a swimming pool on the rooftop, or I want a helipad, I want a gym, I want this, that. So you go back, you redesign it, and then you again come to your stakeholder for their approval. And this cycle continues till you get the approval. So this is where we can go for the agile methodology, where you are adaptive to change, you are flexible and with changes. And once the design is complete, the client is satisfied, they give you the approval, and you go to the construction part. So here you can follow the predictive methodology or the waterfall methodology, because now obviously construction is a costly job, and you cannot let's say you constructed first floor and now your customer come, no, I want it to look like this. So that is obviously not possible, and even if it is possible, so it can be very costly. So in this phase of the project, we can go for predictive methodology. So this now becomes a hybrid kind of project, where depending on the nature of the different phases, we adapt or we utilize different methodology. Depending on the phase in which you are working, so then you can decide that which methodology or which procedure is best suited for that requirement, and then you maybe apply it accordingly. Okay.
Imran, just one question. I actually have doubt here. You mentioned phases design. So sorry, we are taking a bit long on this topic, but maybe
No,
you,
no
as you
problem.
mentioned, so you mentioned design phase for the construction project. So where we can probably see the agility part, right? Don't you think it would be other way around? Like, because design, yeah, we can probably for we can capture the requirements from the client, and we can prepare the designs, right? And we are normally flexible a bit to have those requirements and build a design on that, right? When it comes to the construction part, so on the construction side, let's say for example, if we have to build a house, let's say if the design is already ready and that design actually is prepared, so maybe to some extent we can say second floor cannot be built until the first floor is not ready, but at least we can do the things in parallel or stuff like that. What is your thought on this?
So again, uh, what I have taken here is design part as separate and construction as separate. If you are taking it parallel, let's say you
Mhm,
design the first floor, you construct
mhm,
it, and then based on that, you want the second floor. Okay.
mhm.
I hope I'm getting your point right.
Yeah, you are right.
Okay. So now you based on the first floor, now you want to go over the second floor. So again, first you have to design it. So
Mhm,
designing can be on the agile side, because in design phase you have a lot of flexibility now, that where you can tweak things around. You can
mhm,
work on the design part, the customer can review it, and once they give you the go ahead, and then you can start constructing it. So now here
mhm,
what you are doing, that you are basically breaking the deliverable into different parts, but the fundamentals are still the
mhm,
same. You have a design phase and you have a construction phase. In construction phase, floor by floor, you can employ the agility part. But if you talk about the general life cycle, the
mhm,
design life cycle and the construction, sorry, the design phase and the construction phase, so they are again following the different methodologies. In design part, you are more agile. In construction part, when you are actually doing the work, so there you do not have much flexibility.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay,
So, for
or still
example,
confused?
yeah, no, just to clarify a bit. Let's say if we talk about first floor, for example, right? Let's
Mhm.
forget the second one at the moment. So,
Mhm.
keeping in view that phase one is the floor construction of the phase one. So, in that case, design, let's say, is part, in your opinion, is agile, and construction is more, I would say, the waterfall kind of stuff. Is it
Yeah,
your
yeah,
yeah?
yeah. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I am taking it from different perspective. I am taking it
Mm-hmm.
from the perspective of change.
Okay.
Okay, this is and these methodologies basically revolve around this thing, change. That how
Mm-hmm.
flexible or how much flexibility you can have to change the scope of that deliverable.
Okay.
The deliverable part. Okay, and when you
Mm-hmm.
are designing something, let's say you are designing a house, so there you
Mm-hmm.
have more flexibility. You are more flexible. You can change the design as many times as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But once you start implementing that design, or you
Mm-hmm.
start constructing the house, let's say your initial construction design is like this. You
Mm-hmm.
have obviously some foundation, some pillar work. Okay, let's say it is like this. And now, once you are when you are in this construction part, now if any change in design comes, so maybe you need a new column, some changes in the foundation. This should be moved here. So now I'm not saying that this is not change friendly. What I'm saying that uh, at this point of time, the change can be more costly, and it can impact your overall goal, and maybe that is not a feasible change uh, uh, in this scenario. uh, that you may not be able to go for that change because it will go beyond your schedule, or it will be over your budget. So uh, so in this scenario, in predictive methodology, uh, change is possible, but you have to see the impact of the change, that how this change is going to impact your overall goals, how it is going to change your cost, your resources, your schedule, your quality. And understanding that, then you can get the approval for that change, and then you can implement that change. But in design part, you do not have to bother too much about these things.
Yeah. Okay. I think
Okay.
yeah, I think it's
Mm.
clear. So
And
we
this will,
always have to see from a change perspective, but then it
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Mm,
And when we talk about this iron triangle, in the fundamentals part and some other parts, so that
yeah.
thing will become more clear. So how these methodology, you need to approach them from from the change perspective, that how easy or how much flexibility is there in terms of change in that particular phase, and then maybe you can adapt different methodologies accordingly. Yeah,
Mm, mm-hmm. Okay. No, I think it's clear now. So maybe it would be more interesting when we will talking about the IT projects. Yeah. So I can
yeah.
maybe share some lights on that. How
Mhm.
yeah.
IT projects are mostly agile based, because you have changing requirements coming in, and you keep incorporating those changes by having a look on the schedule and cost. And when we talk about agile, so then maybe you can share your experiences. Uh, Actually, in my first session, I had a student from he was from America, and
Mm-hmm.
he was also in the IT part. He was basically a Scrum Master as well. he was doing job of a scrum master. So he helped us a lot. He uh, had sessions. Those sessions are available on my YouTube channel as well, where he taught every one of us that how actually the user stories are defined, how they are user story estimations are done, how user story points are assigned utilizing the software. So that was a very helpful and very interesting session, and I hope you can also add some more value in different scenarios as well. And we have Alim as well. He is also in the software part. So we'll be looking forward to learn from you guys as well.
Just one comment, and then probably we can move on. So, in the IT projects, even so, let's say when it comes to I mean, it depends upon the scope of the project, even. So the project that I worked with in the last company, so um, for one of the project, I remember we were following the kind of hybrid model. And for one of the project, we were more we were saying that we are following agile model, but of course, I cannot say that 100% agile practices were followed there. So okay, I think maybe it would be more interesting when we'll be touching the fundamentals and
Yeah.
understanding the concept
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked about this business oriented and value driven already, that you need to have a holistic view of the overall broader environment. You need to understand what uh, value the organization is trying to get from your project, and that value or that value should always be in your mind whenever you are taking any decisions related to their project. Agile mindset and hybrid approaches, we discussed a bit about this, and we will talk about these when we go to these different topics. Agile, we have a very long session on Agile. So that will be also a very interesting part to learn about Agile and how things are done in Agile, but obviously from the PMI's perspective. Maybe practically things are being done different, but we need to understand from the PMI perspective. Emotional intelligence and stakeholder engagement is a very important aspect of PMP exam. How to engage stakeholders, how to uh, collect the requirements, how to communicate regularly with the stakeholders, utilizing your emotional intelligence in different scenarios. So we will talk about these things as well. And continuous learning and improvement is also an important mindset to have, that you need to whatever things that go wrong or go well in your project, you need to document them. Yeah, so that they not only benefit you, but upcoming projects in the organization as well. And uh, you also learn from, or you go, or you refer the documentation of previous projects as well whenever you are planning or delivering something. So that is a very important aspect, and there are certain documents related to it, and we will talk about those documents and their importance as well. And team empowerment and well-being is also very important, that you need to delegate to your team, especially when we talk about agile. So we will see how in agile methodologies teams work, how autonomous they are. And well-being is related to the servant leadership again, that you need to make sure that your people are trained enough, they have the training opportunities. Wherever the requirement is, they should be having the coaching available, mentorship available, and their working hours, everything is well taken care of. So this is how your mindset, or some important points about the mindset that you should be developing during this course, and at least till you pass the PMP exam. So now let's quickly go through the PMBOK details, just for a quick review. That basically the current exam, it is coming from these two PMBOKs. Agile is obviously separate, that is from the Agile Practice Guide, but the 50% of the exam, it comes from the PMBOK 6 and the PMBOK 7. And in PMBOK 6, mainly these process groups, these what we will be covering. You do not need to memorize these 49 processes. No need to memorize these. You just need to understand what we do in different processes. And this is what we will be covering in our upcoming sessions. And combined with the PMBOK 7th edition. So PMBOK 7th edition, basically how it has moved from 6th edition to 7th edition is like this. That earlier we have these 10 knowledge areas and we have these 49 process groups, and you have these uh, stages or cycles of the project: initiate, planning, executing. This is still part of the predictive methodologies or the overall life cycle. But what the shift has come in the new PMBOK, that they have introduced some principles, more the 12 project management principles are now introduced, which is more or like the stewardship. The stewardship is all about like a captain of a ship. You are there as a project manager to guide every aspect of the project, and the rest of the topics, team, stakeholder, leadership, adaptability, resiliency, risk, quality, complexity, change, systems thinking, value. These all we will be covering in our upcoming sessions. Tailoring is an important concept, that whatever methodologies or whatever documentation or whatever processes you have, you need to tailor them as per the requirement or environment of your project. It is not like that everything should be implemented as it is mentioned in the PMBOK. You need to tailor it according to your requirements, your environment, your organizational policies, and then you can start implementing it. So this is just a brief overview. No need to bother about these things or memorizing that what was in PMBOK 6 or what was in PMBOK 7. It is just to give you a reference of how things have shifted, and we will be covering all these things as we go along. These are again the knowledge areas or the performance. The knowledge areas are now converted into performance domains, and we will cover all these things: that how to deal with team, how to handle the team, how to deal with the stakeholder, what are the different life cycles. We touched upon these already today as well, and we'll talk about these in upcoming sessions as well. The predictive, agile, and hybrid planning, uncertainty and ambiguity, like change management, risk management, delivery, the execution part, performance measurement is basically monitoring and controlling, and the project work. So all these things we will be covering as we go along. And this is a very important thing. I briefly touched upon this earlier as well. That as we go along in our upcoming sessions, so this is what you need to do. You need to wear the PMI hat and remove all the baggage, all the experience, uh, all the knowledge, whatever experience you have, maybe uh, 10 years, 20 years, 19 years, 15 years, whatever experience you have, you need to let that go. Uh, Forget everything and just wear the PMI hat and start seeing different things or different areas like risk management, quality management, team management, stakeholder communication from the PMI perspective, because this is what uh, is going to give you the PMP certification after all. So this is the most important thing that you should be doing from right now or maybe from the upcoming sessions to start understanding or grasping things from the perspective of the PMI. So this was it for the intro part. It took a bit longer than planned, but anyways, it's always good uh, because in every session things turn up differently. People have different questions, so it was good. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. We are almost done with today's time, so uh, uh, maybe I think we shall conclude it for the day, and we'll start the fundamental part on in our next class. Okay.
Imran, maybe if you have 1 minute, so maybe I couldn't grasp the concept, the fundamental change in PM box 6 and 7. So maybe can you please sum it up?
Okay. Okay, this one?
Yeah, correct. This one.
Okay.
So
Also, this
we
is
have to follow both,
just
or we have to follow 7? I mean,
no, you
how
just have to follow me.
no, of course,
You just
I
have to follow. Uh. Actually, what is the shift that this PM Box 6 is basically process based. Okay. It was all
right,
about processes that you have initiating, planning, executing, and how that
knowledge
these
areas.
near knowledge areas they are then divided into these processes. Okay.
Correct.
So this is still an important part, especially when we talk about the predictive methodology. Okay.
Okay.
Because predictive is very plan driven. You have a lot of documentation involved. Okay.
All right.
So that is why it is important to uh, go through these processes. The PM Box 7 is more principle based.
Okay.
Okay. And those principles are basically these are the 12 principles. Uh, Principle of stewardship, team, stakeholder. So we will be covering all these things in our sessions. And then you have these performance domains that how the stakeholder performance are engaged, the team is engaged, how planning is done. So everything we will be covering in such a in a very inshallah seamless way that you do not need to bother anything about these this diagram or these two standards as we go along. Okay.
Okay, right.
And if you want any, although it is not necessary, but if you want any details on this earlier, so I think I have this put on the website, and if it is not, I'll share it with you guys. So you
Okay.
can have a quick read on what is stewardship or things like that. Okay. All right. So, any other guys, if any one of you has any questions related to today's session, any comment, please feel free to share, ask. I don't know Aleem is with us or not. I can see his name, but why he is not shown in the window?
Imran sir, I'm there.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. I'm attentively listening to you. So
Okay. Thank you so
so
much.
I hope, yes. So how I hope that in next session we will be able to communicate.
Communicate regarding.
I mean, totally. I will go through whole this session once again,
Okay.
and
Okay.
definitely we will get some points, and we will be able to communicate on that points.
Yeah. Sure.
If
Anytime.
yes, if possible, if needed, if needed.
Okay.
Otherwise,
And
everything is yes. Otherwise, everything is okay. Things are
okay.
good.
And you can ask question maybe on the WhatsApp group as well. There is
No problem.
no
Yes, yes.
okay. No need to wait for the sessions. The group is for that purpose solely, where we can communicate, ask
Yeah,
questions,
yeah,
or
yeah.
help each other. Okay.
जी बिल्कुल ऐसे ही yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
by the way, Shifaz, I have one question from you. Let me stop the recording first.
Oh,